Good evening, everyone. I'm Akush Lapinder. There's still a long way to go, but as for right now, the Prime Minister insists the country is making strides in the war on crime. And a further tightening of that grip will mean putting more boots on the ground, redirecting personnel, and installing additional security devices, as outlined in the Prime Minister's second national address last evening.
We expect approximately 130 new recruits to be trained this year. 100 for New Providence and 30 for Grand Bahama. This year, we will purchase 90 new vehicles for the police force. We will be relentless in preventing and fighting crime. We will relentlessly track down those who do us harm.
Training and retraining is also crucial. Last year, this included 794 police officers, 134 police recruits, 41 customs officers, 12 immigration officers, 9 correctional officers, 4 Defense Force Marines, 9 security officers, and 20 civilians from the National Neighborhood Watch Council. Technologically, there are also plans to install an additional 507 CCTV cameras throughout New Providence, bringing the total to 750. An additional 100 shot spotters will go in high-crime areas, allowing police to more quickly respond to gun-related crimes.
We are building a national drone program that will aid in the detection and prevention of crime that will be operational in New Providence this year. This program will also assist with border control and in other areas of national security. We are also reviewing other crime-fighting technologies, such as body cams and dash cams for law enforcement officers. To better protect our borders and to reduce illegal migration, we will install a land-based radar in Inagua, in the southern Bahamas. Our multi-layered security approach will also include drones and vessels. We will enhance our interception capabilities by decentralizing the dispatch of vessels in the southern Bahamas. We will expand base facilities to accommodate drone deployment.
Reducing crime also calls for reducing the rate of reoffending. Some 124 inmates graduated from BTVI in auto mechanics, barbering, carpentry, computers, electrical work, garment making, plumbing, and masonry. According to the Prime Minister, a more extensive needs and feasibility assessment is also being carried out to build an additional facility to house training and rehabilitative programs for inmates. While the Prime Minister's address also spoke of plans to establish a $1 million culture fund to ensure the continued growth of the country's arts sector. This fund, he says, will focus on supporting the development of local painters, writers, sculptors, filmmakers, artisans, playwrights, poets, musicians, and performing artists involved in projects of cultural significance.
Artists will be able to apply for small grants to support initiatives that will add to cultural expression of the country. These grants will be managed and administered by an independent, non-political entity to ensure that no Bahamian artist has to ask a politician for a grant.
And while the government will seed the fund, the Prime Minister says the initiative will be open to private donors.
Eligible projects will include those with a public component that benefit the community and the cost needed by an individual for the execution of a cultural project. Such projects may include writing a book, putting on a play or an exhibition, making a film or documentary, a community art activity, or setting up writing workshops, which may produce poetry, stories, and other written materials.
Now, it's expected that grant applications will be reviewed by a panel of members throughout the country's art community. Again, this is the second in a series of national addresses the Prime Minister is expected to make. The third is expected to cover healthcare, the environment, energy reform, modernization, and various infrastructure projects. Well, the Progressive Liberal Party is weighing in on the Prime Minister's address, which its chairman sums up as offering no new information, a useless exercise in self-praise. Instead, Senator Fred Mitchell finds there was a rehash of what he calls the same tired promises and deceits on education that's been heard before. Nothing the PLP had not agreed to do before losing office in 2017. Mr. Mitchell reasons that the half-hour airtime could have been better spent telling Bahamians how the government will put money back into the economy, get people back to work, and how the Prime Minister had dismissed cabinet ministers Dr. Dwayne Sands and Marvin Dames for their conduct in the Frank Smith extortion and bribery case. You're watching JCN News. Stay with us.
This segment of the news was brought to you by Alive.